Good morning, everybody. It is Saturday, August the 2nd, 2025. And I have just arrived here on the summit crest of Cowlitz Rocks, which overlooks the south side of Mount Rainier National Park. Yet again, it feels super good to be back in the presence of the Mother Goddess Mountain of the Pacific Northwest. I love the different faces of Mount Rainier. Each side you go to in this park, it's like a completely different park in and of itself. And the park lands that I walked through this morning were just heavenly, fairy tale-like, contrasting from the meadows on the east side, which are more like the Sound of Music. Both of them very beautiful, just a completely different feeling. The south side gets a lot more snow and a lot more rain than the east and the north side, and it definitely shows in the plant life in the meadows here. It didn't take very long though to break out into the alpine tundra and rocky crags of the high country here. And I'm really looking forward to just spending the day crawling around here on the slopes of Mount Rainier. I'm keeping with my theme of taking popular day hikes, extending them a little bit and making them more spicy, and just turning it into an ultimate day hike here in my favorite place to do really long day hikes. I found it fitting to start by coming up here to the high point of the day, Cowlitz Rocks. Way back in August 2009, not very long after doing the Wonderland Trail, my friend Bruce, Sarah, and I came here to Cowlitz Rocks, and it was probably our first scramble that we ever did here in this park. It was also the first time I think we ever went past one of the end of maintained trail signs. Just a big deal in our hiking career, and it was just so cool being up here. I remember finding in those rocks right there our very first summit register, and I had no idea what it was. I thought it was actually a pipe bomb, and we very hesitantly opened it up, and there was a notebook inside with pencil and paper, and we're like, oh, we signed our names on this. So we did. I actually drew a picture of Mount Rainier from this angle. We put it back, and that summit register is gone. Compared to last week, there's a lot of forest fire smoke on this trip. It's a part of nature, and I'm just going to adapt to it. Down here, this is the muddy fork of the Cowlitz River. And I always thought this is one of the more interesting glaciated features of the mountain. Here is the rubble-strewn snout of the Cowlitz Glacier. When you come up here, you can see where the Ingram Glacier over here and the Cowlitz have their ice falls and converge into the one tongue of ice. There's Little Tahoma. Change my feet here without falling. Cathedral Rocks rise up and go right along the crest, and that splits the Ingram and the Cowlitz Glacier right here. Camp Muir is just up right here on that crest. This here is the Paradise Glacier right here, and of course you can see the icy dome of Tahoma. Sarah and I camped on that little thing of rock right there when we tried climbing Little Tahoma the first time from Paradise. Down here you can see the remnants of the Paradise Glacier when it used to come down and fill this valley, and it had the ice caves. Those are all gone. And here you can see the extent of the forest fire smoke down there. I am above it, but it looks like I'm going to be walking back down in it. And my plan is to descend pretty much the way I came and then cut across these snowfields here, and I should be able to drop down. And Fan Lake is going to be down here in that bowl. And that is the objective of the day. It took me no time to descend from Cowlitz Rocks up there. If you do come up here and you're interested in scrambling up there, beware. A lot of scree, a lot of loose rock, dinner plates that kind of slide on each other. You know, very rockfall prone, scrambling up and down. I'm really loving those beautiful striations right there. Glacial ice and what it can do. I'm now going to drop down probably in here And I'm gonna make it out to that crest and then descend even further. Right there is the ridge of Cowlitz Rocks. And then you can see this cirque basin up in here. And that snowfield is all that remains of the Willowockies Glacier. And I don't even think I'm pronouncing that right. I've safely made it off of the moraines just in time for the midday heat, and I have arrived at the gates of some brand new parklands that I have never walked through before. I'm really going to enjoy this. Next, I gotta find a way to get off of this high bluff and get down into here. I could go through that gully. Looks like a lot more scree down in there. Once I get down there, I'm golden. Then I gotta make my way down to the next meadow and then either go across that face or go up the ridge and then drop down to the lake. The other option is to keep going this way and drop down there. Kind of glad I'm checking this out because this is going to be my exit route. There is a goat path down there somewhere, and I'm kind of just looking for it now, and I'm seeing where I need to go, and I'm ready to leave. And then I got to cross that debris field again with boulders and cross Stevens Creek, and then I'm golden. The trail is right up there, and it goes back that way. I have made it down into this upper basin. Upper basin, lower basin, whatever you want to call it. I was kind of forced to take the scree gully. Really sketchy, but I made it. I'm at the point in the day's trip where I'm at a crux defining moment. I'll show you why in a moment. I just came down from there. The scree slope I scrambled down is way up there by those trees, I think, and it comes down. Going up, it's no problem. I'm just gonna hug this heather and that'll take me up to where I need to go. That's no problem. But right here, there's a sheer cliff. It's a beautiful cliff, but it's definitely an impasse. And I got to get down to this meadow somehow so I can cross over to Fan Lake, which is over on that plateau. And going over here just isn't an option. I gotta maybe get down to that park. So the only other try that I have is to head over that way and drop down to this waterfall and cross it. I've been fumbling around in this section for a few minutes now, and I can't really make up my mind what I want to do. I'm confident I could make it down there, I'm just questioning if I really want to climb back out again. And I am solo. Adds a little bit more to the element. I'm standing on this creek bed right here. I mean, going down that definitely is not an option. I'm sure I could make it over to here, but still, it's very, very steep down into there. Sure is pretty though. It's funny, when I was looking at the topographic map and I planned on coming down to this lowest route, it looks like nothing on the map. It's in fact a no-joke cliff. I guess it's forcing me to stop here and take in the beauty that is to be seen from this bluff right here. I'm going to make my way up to that bluff right there. And I do have another idea that just dawned on me. It is not the end of the world if I can't make it to Fan Lake today, because I have more time next week. Clouds aren't too bad. They're kind of staying where they're at, but they're blocking all the peaks. And if I go that way and find a way over to the other side over there, there's a definite way down right there. And then I should be able to head out in that direction there. And then there's a definite goat path that cuts across that slope to the lake. I still think it would take me 2 hours to get there from here. So I'm going to use this trip as its weight in gold of reconnaissance. I think I'll come back and go straight to this spot and follow through with that plan. This here is the beginning of Stevens Ridge. It's got some really nice meadows out there. I may walk out there and check those out for a sec, but it continues on out above Stevens Canyon out that direction. Even in these cross-country zones, there's plenty of animal paths. If I could capture the smell of all this lupine right now, I would. Wow. On the flip side of not making it where I initially wanted to go today is I got to come out here and get a taste of Stevens Ridge. This is really beautiful. There are no mosquitoes out. Just like a week and a half ago, there's a nice cool breeze. It hasn't really rained, but it's just blowing my mind as to the lack of mosquito and just general bug activity altogether. It's very pleasant. I'm really enjoying myself. You know, coming out here was kind of unplanned, but sometimes the best things are unplanned, and you just roll with the punches and go with the flow. And there is Banshee Peak and the Cowlitz Chimneys. The never-ending parklands continue. And here's the next leg of my journey. I found this nice goat path. I'm going to take that all the way down, and I'm going to cross the boulder field and then find a safe place to ford Stevens Creek. May have to go back up to where I crossed it this morning where it fanned out a bit more, considering it's probably going to be flowing a bit stronger. Well, let's go get on with it. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, August the 4th, 2025. And we are back at it again here, trying to find the way to Fan Lake. We have made it back to Stevens Ridge at the confluence of that goat path that goes down into the Stevens Creek drainage. It's very foggy. The Mount Rainier recreational forecast said that there was going to be very dense fog, but then mostly sunny. So we're just hanging out here, enjoying a cup of coffee in this grove of hemlocks, waiting and seeing if the fog lifts. Don't really want to push on, and there's no sense in that unless we can't see the way that we are going. Pretty proud of the approach hike today. I literally crossed Stevens Creek, made it across the rock field, right to the goat, like the senses, the human brain, and our inner compass. If it's on, it's on, and took us right to the goat path that led up to this point in complete fog. So it feels good to be back again and just relaxing, and we'll see what happens with the weather here in a few minutes. It's crazy to think that I actually have pretty good cell phone service up here. I was just able to make a phone call to Sarah, and the weather isn't any better down in the Puget Lowlands. It's cloudy down there as well. The only difference is I'm in the clouds, and it hasn't gotten better at all since I arrived here at 7:30. I've spent several hours here in my nice dry grove of trees. I took a nap. I've been studying the map, and I've been going out to the open occasionally just to kind of look at the conditions. The fog is definitely teasing, and it plays tricks on you. Every once in a while I can see the sun up through it, and it is very warm and humid out there, but visibility is not good at all. And I just don't want to go out to a very remote and beautiful spot without being able to see anything. So I've set a turnaround time of 2 o'clock. Nothing happens by then. It doesn't get any better. I'm gonna head back the way I came and come back another day. If it does get better before then, I'm gonna continue on, and I think I'll still have enough time to get back all the way to the car before it gets too dark to hike. Simply put, I am really enjoying the silence and the solitude right now. This is what I mean by dinner plate andesite. There's a lot of it all over Mount Rainier National Park. You gotta watch out when you're scrambling on this type of rock. It flakes off in those thin sheets, just like little dinner plates. And they slide on each other very easily when you apply pressure and when they're angled downwards. See? I don't know if this is andesite or not, but this type of stone here, it's everywhere. Really slide prone. Kind of an eerie view. Something definitely drew me up here on this unplanned little ridge scramble in the fog. Well, time is up. It is about 2 o'clock p.m. It doesn't look like conditions are going to get any more clear than what they are. The pea soup has won, and I have been humbled by the forces of nature a second time in the quest to get to the shores of Fan Lake. It's okay though. I'm just gonna have to return again a third time, and hopefully that will be the charm. We all know that's why we come out here, or at least it's a big part of it, is to stand in the presence of all-powerful forces of nature, that always tend to put us in our place one way or another. I'm still looking forward to the walk out of here. It's going to be just as beautiful in these conditions, which always forces you to kind of pay attention to the small details all around you. Here we go. Good morning to a beautiful Sunday, August the 24th, late summer here at Mount Rainier National Park, and we are back at it again. Third time is always a charm. We are en route to finding the way to Fan Lake. I have come with reinforcements today. Sarah is joining me. I'm really glad that I get to share the experience with her as well as with all of you today. I feel really good about the vibes coming out of this hike today, and I feel like we're gonna make it. So we are going forward with plan B right now. We just dropped down from the grove of trees where I was fogged in for 7 hours the last time I was here. We're gonna work our way down these moraines, cross Willie Walkus Creek, and then from there we're hopefully just gonna find a nice easy slope to drop down into the next cirque. Just take it a step at a time, and hopefully in a couple of hours we will be resting in the late summer golden beauty of Fan Lake. Just over that moraine was the crossing of Willie Walkus Creek, and I am now looking at the next hanging valley we got to drop into. I think I'm just going to go right down here, cross that snow. I think Sarah went a different way off to the right, and we're probably just going to converge right there at that point, because that's where we drop down to the next series of meadows. And you're just going to keep following this creek down. Just for point of reference, I turned around down in there on my first day hike attempt to reach Fan Lake. And now I'm in the spot I was scouting from over there. You keep going down, following the creek. It brought me to this beautiful overlook. And this is where you pretty much have to stop. I'm just going to take this nice panoramic shot right here. Our goal is to make it down to those meadows. I just got to backtrack just a tad and make it over there to where Sarah is. She's working her way down through those boulders there. There is some human debris down here. We just stumbled upon the wreckage of an aircraft here that crashed into the side of the mountain. There are parts strewn all over the place in here. There's a bunch of pieces here. It's all riveted. Looks like the part of a fuselage or some wings. There's definitely engine parts. It makes me think, who is flying this aircraft and how did it end up here?
Where is the engine?
All of this metal is completely melted, which means it caught on fire. And you can see where this rock flaked off because of the heat. Exfoliation. So we found the rotor downhill from the wreckage site, which means that this was a helicopter. It's one of those spots I can't keep the camera turned off. And right up here, I haven't seen it yet, but Sarah's really excited about this view right here. Wow. That is a fantastic view. Looking right up the Ingram at Little Tahoma, and then across at Cowlitz Park over there. Holy moly. This is a very good view into the Cowlitz River Valley. This is the Muddy Fork up here and all of its glacial features. You can see Sarah down there. She's working her way into this valley here, and our game trail that we're looking for should be right in there to go that way. This is that game trail I've been scouting from across the valley for a couple day hikes now. I'm going to take it right up to there, and then it should drop down to Fan Lake on the other side over there. Here's a really good view down into the Willy-Wakus Creek drainage. Very steep meadows flanking all sides of it. That's the impassable cliff that stopped me. That's the gully right there that I was very apprehensive about crossing 2 day hikes ago. I can see now that coming down off of Stevens Ridge would also work too into this valley, but then you'd have to climb up this way. A good place for viewing some wildlife. It is really starting to get very warm and hot. And the hot temperature is definitely going along with the hot colors that are poking out. Signs of fall are in the air. And there it is, Fan Lake. We're just going to drop down to it here. These rolling meadows. Find a good spot to take a load off down there. We have arrived at the very marshy and grassy shores of Fan Lake. There are elk tracks everywhere down in here. Sarah,
Yes.
you having fun today?
Beautiful. It's hard to explain.
Here we are, finally, the refreshments. The whole thing is a reward. The views, seeing what we saw today, the last little bit of wildflowers that are in bloom, and little pockets, they're just coming out strong. And the tragedy that we experienced too, the wreckage. It's just up over that hill there. And we're just enjoying ourselves. I like claiming lakes, and Sarah beat me to it. She already jumped into Fan Lake. And I'm gonna get in just a second here too. I've been waiting for this. It took me 3 day hikes to earn the right to take my dip in Fan Lake. So it sounds like it's pretty deep, just right over there. Here we go. Oh man. Whew. That is so gorgeous under that water.
Is it?
Oh my.
I didn't open my eyes.
Yeah. That water was perfect. I think Fan Lake might just have to be one of my favorite mountain swimming experiences. It was about 8 feet deep out in the middle. Crystal clear water, not freezing cold. The first 2 inches is actually very warm. It was nice to have a few moments of pure fun here at Fan Lake. We came up from the game trail about right there, and we came down this way, and there's where we ran into the cliffs, and then we worked out into this gully and down, and then we worked our way along the far shore of the lake over to this spot. As we leave here, we're going to do it a little bit differently. We're just going to make our way up to the tree line, and we're going to make a guess that there's some nice open meadows up there where we can switch back up the hill this way and just kind of give us a view on the other side, because it was pretty incredible up there. And we're hoping that'll bring us right back up to the same spot, or we can hop back onto that game trail and go back the way that we came. I'm so glad we came up here on a day that it's definitely just a hot summer scorcher. There's a lot of heat, and it is definitely approaching I think the warmest hour of the day. And we have left Fan Lake. It's a completely different environment up here on this meadowed ridge than it was down there by the water. It's very hot and humid. There's quite a few flies around, and definitely not as cool as it was down next to the oasis. Shouldn't take us that long to get back to Maintain Trail from here. And it's always a bit faster, it seems, backtracking the way out, because you've already solved the problem and you figured out the way in here. And I'm glad that Fan Lake made us work for it. It was definitely worth it. That right there is probably one of the most beautiful views of Mount Rainier I have seen in a long time. You just don't see it like that. The way that the Ingram and the Cowlitz glaciers are coming down off of their ice falls and converging into that single tongue of ice at the bottom of the valley. We're looking right up at it. In the foreground, it's just, everything is so perfectly placed in this corner of the park. And I was just thinking, Wonderland Trail goes around the mountain, and it definitely does the south side, but it leaves all of this out. The Wonderland Trail on the south side of Rainier stays in the valleys, and it follows the road, and you just don't get this splendor that you just have to work for a little bit more to come up here and enjoy. So I'm glad it kind of left it out, because it set it off to the side and it leaves it ready to be discovered in your own hiking adventures as you explore all the different realms of Mount Rainier National Park.